Hey there, it's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership, and I'm hoping that you can hear me today because I am going to be live here from the Netherlands, and I'm in a hotel room, so who knows what the internet's like here. Let's hope that we can get through. But today, what we're talking about is how to build a super engaged team, how to get the most out of that team, even if you're not really a people person and you don't really feel that comfortable being the leader, stepping up, or maybe you prefer computers to people, or you're just a really busy person who hasn't really got the time for the niceties of all the chat around the water cooler and all those things that we seem to see people spending time doing. And we just want to get straight down to business, don't we? Or do we? Well, the real problem is that businesses are made of people. So today we're talking about, well, if I'm not really a people person, how can I actually engage those people to want to work with me, or to want to work with the business that I'm in, and to do their best work and to enjoy themselves while they're there? That would be great. And the problem is that people aren't always like ourselves, are they? They're not always like us. And sometimes they can be a bit like an alien, and we don't really understand what's going on, what making them tick, or how can I actually get through to this person? And the thing is, what I think that we all should realise is it's the pretty obvious thing that businesses are made up of people, and people are 100% human most of the time, and therefore we all have needs, we all have desires, we have values, we have behaviours that are born out of meeting the needs that we as a human have. Tony Robbins talks about 6 human needs, and he talks about the need for connection, the need for significance, the need to belong and be part of something and be loved, the need to, I'm going to have to try and remember all now, and hold on, the need to be safe and secure, but also the need to have interesting things happen, to have variety. I know I've forgotten one, but not to worry for now, because the point being is that if you just think of it like this, you have a need, and that need might be born out of those values or those desires and those human needs of, let's just say, well, I have a need to make sure this is right, and this is fair, and this is a good thing, and that it's not risky, and therefore it's going to be safe. If your need is a high need for things to be right and safe and secure, then your behaviours are going to be born out of that, aren't they? So let's just say that you prefer to get things right rather than to make people happy. Let's just go with that one, which I hear quite a lot of in my business. Therefore, your behaviours are going to be driven by that belief and that need. But the problem is if you've got other people in the room that aren't driven by the same need, maybe they're driven more by a need by connection. Maybe they're driven by a need for significance. And therefore, if we don't fill those human needs, then they're going to stop what they're doing. They're not going to be engaged, and they're not going to be listening to what you have to say. And therefore, you as a leader are going to have less impact. You're going to have less ability to create a productive team, and therefore your boss is probably going to be on your back. You're not going to be the super leader that you wished you always were, and that's going to drive your opportunities as well, and then the business as well. So what we need to do is to look at, are we creating some of our own reality around, oh, my team isn't really working very well, or I wish they would work harder or faster, or whichever way they would like them to work. So what we need to do is, first of all, we need to use tissue, because I've got there it goes, excuse me. We need to think about, well, if I'm not really a people person, how on earth do I know what anybody's human needs are? There's a thing. How do you even know what's going to be coming out of their thoughts and their feelings? Because they don't generally have it, stapled to their head, do they? Like, oh, this is how I'm feeling, or this is what I'm doing. And we have to play detective. We have to get clever about understanding people, short of actually asking them, which would also be pretty wise, but not always possible or appropriate at the time. Then we have to be able to find out what's going on for people by looking for those clues and starting to notice of ourselves what's driving our behaviour, because that's always a good start, isn't it? because behavior breeds behavior. So if we're doing something, showing up in a certain way, then obviously that's going to have a knock-on effect with the people that are around us. So we first look at ourselves and say, well, what's driving me, but also what's driving others. And the only way we can do that is to start to get curious and start to actually look at what people are doing, and then the mask which they've put is like, this is what they're doing, but what's behind that? What's going on? Why did that happen? And understanding the people in the room, taking that time to listen, and actually taking note of what that person is showing you, so that you then know how to engage with them. You know then, okay, well, if that's what they're showing me deep down, then if that's what they need, then if I give them that need, if I service what that is, and I don't mean that they need a piece of cake, although they might, what I mean is that they might need more connection, or they might need more significance, or they might need more security. That's what I'm talking about here. And what that means, I've just remembered the last one, it was growth. What that means is that you can easily actually service their need so that they feel that you, one, understand them, two, you've heard them, and three, you've given them what they need. And therefore, they're going to be wanting to be around you as a person because they feel respected, they feel heard. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. If you're listening live, that's great. Let me know. And if you're listening on the replay, pop it in the comments and we'll certainly reply to you. So what I'm talking about is curiosity and perhaps a little bit of detective work in understanding what those needs are behind people. Now, if you think about that, yes, you could ask people, but you could also start looking at, and I want us to think about just briefly here about a way in which we could do that and start to notice things about people, perhaps a little bit back to front, but let's think about how do we actually do that if we're not particularly a people person. We're not the sort of person that's, easily seeing what's going on in people's minds. And I love the tool called DISC. Don't know if you've heard of it, but DISC is a behavioral profiling tool, and you can do a big test to see what you are and where you are and get your report and all those things. But we're not going to do that because we don't need to do that. Because what I believe is if you just take the principles of which is behind it that are very, very simple, then you can start to utilize this tool, within like 5 seconds of us talking about it, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to go and use that now, which is much more useful than actually going away and doing a test, let's say. So I want us to think on two axes. I was going to say, like, if you imagine a crosshairs, think on two axes. Like, think for yourself, are you more of a people person or a task focused person? So would I be hearing you say, let's get this done, or we need to focus on this task? Or would it be saying, like, who are we going to be working with? Oh, this is going to be interesting. Let's bring everybody in. So which way do you think that you go in terms of people or task as a focus for projects, for the way you do business, the way you communicate, and all those things? Okay, so I'm definitely, you may not have guessed it, that's pretty obvious normally, I'm definitely a people person. So where are you coming from? People focus or task focus? The next thing is whether you do it from a more extrovert or introvert base. Okay, so when you say whether you do it from a more extrovert introvert base, let's just look at that. So if I was a more extrovert people focused person, okay, then I'm going to be more, perhaps a little bit more outgoing, but much more about trying to, let's have fun, let's bring people with us, let's enjoy what we're doing, let's all work towards a cause, and let's move, so quite dynamic, move towards that cause. And so what you're getting is somebody who needs variety, is energy, has a drive to enjoy and bring people with them. And you're going to see this, and this is what I'm talking about. The clues that you've got there are going to be that they talk about people, that they're talking about let's get together. The language that they're using is going to show what's going on in their mind. So they're going to probably get bored very easily. So you're going to see them say, oh, is there anything new? Oh, I like new things. So you're going to start seeing them doing and saying things that are showing you that they're, one, people focused, and two, more energetic and outgoing than others. Okay, so if you were to look at it that way, people focus and extrovert, probably I call them shiny, in that they always want to do something new. They're probably spinning loads of plates and having a great time, but they probably aren't closing the deals or delivering as much on the deals, let's say, in that they don't like to finish projects because they like new stuff. So it's boring after a while. We leave it behind. Okay, so that's one. What about if you were a task-focused extrovert? Well, that means that you're going to be, like it says, pretty obvious, I'm going to focus on tasks. So I want things done. I want to see results. I want things to happen. I want to move. Okay, so if I'm an extrovert with that, it means that I'm going to tell people, I'm going to show people, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to be really dynamic and I'm going to start to make decisions quickly. So when you're seeing somebody doing this and what I might call pushing it along, then you're going to start seeing somebody who is more task-focused extrovert. Okay, more dominant, more direct, really just telling you how it is. And therefore, when you think about that, what do they need when you are communicating with that person? Well, they need you to be more direct with them. Makes sense? Okay. And then if we think about, well, if I might be people focused, but let's say I'm not so extrovert, I'm perhaps more introvert with it. I don't go out there and be the light that everybody has to see, but I'm much more of a supporter because I'm not pushing it through my ego. I'm actually now a people focused person who's caring about people, who's thinking about the consequences, who makes things happen because they bring people together and they're like the glue in the team. So when we're not driving through that ego, but we're more people focused, we're caring, sharing, and probably not wanting to make waves, not wanting to, let's say, upset the apple cart. So this is the language that you might hear people say. So can you see, you don't need to go and do a big report, although you can, and I do that with people, but you can start to use this right now. And so when you've got somebody who's in that space, they're a supporter. They are remembering people's birthdays and they will tell you that, Bob's not feeling well, or they'll ask you how you are for a start. That's a big a big clue. Yeah, they'll ask you how they are. They'll care about you and they'll care about others. And they need you to care about them. Yeah, because they need that respect, they need that care. And they probably don't like change very much because they're more worried about the people. And then you've got the last group, the task-focused introvert. And those are the people that, again, like it says, not like the extrovert one where they're focusing on getting it done. Here we're focusing on doing the task right, making sure things are right, because we're not going from I want to an ego-driven moving. I'm actually wanting to check and make sure it's correct and make sure we do things right. And so this person is going to show you that they want to slow things down, that they want to make sure there's no risk. They'll be talking about that's risky, or they'll be talking about we need to be careful. We need to make sure it's right. They might use shoulds and oughts. So can you see that if you just think on those two lines, whether I'm people focused, whether I'm task focused, whether I'm more extrovert with it, whether I'm more introvert with it, will give you a massive indicator as to what kind of person they are, or kind of person they are, but what their needs might be. And when you are working on their needs, then they will feel heard and understood and cared for and either respected or cared for, depending on which area they come from, that they want more of. And therefore, they're going to feel more comfortable in your team, which means they're going to engage, which means they're going to want to work with you. So just taking some time to understand those four perspectives on those two planes of people focus or task and more extrovert introvert will mean that you can engage your team by actually understanding what might be going on for them behind the mask, let's say. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you would like a little ready reckoner, I call it, I don't think I called that on the actual PDF that I wrote. If you would like a one-page document that you could literally refer to and just go, oh yeah, that makes sense, and to give you a guide. It's not the be-all and end-all, obviously, because there's more to it than just one page. But it is brilliant for just sitting on your desk and just thinking, why did Bob do that? What do I need to do to serve his or her needs and therefore have a more engaged team? If you would like a copy of that, then message me and I will get that to you. You're more than welcome to have that. And it will help you to play detective, even if it's not something that you feel that's naturally your thing. Okay, so I hope that's of help to you today. I want to get back to my other camera because this makes me look absolutely awful. I think the light's terrible here today, but never mind. It's not about me. So give me a shout if you would like some help in actually implementing this in your team. If you want to go a bit further, not just pop it on your desk, but going out and actually really engaging and really understanding, because what we do is we delve into this a lot more deeply. And we delve in this on our Leaders Launchpad program and our Confident Communicator program. So if you would like to do either of those, or you just want to find out more so that we can do something specifically with your team, then give me a shout and we can give you the details of how you can get involved. So thank you very much for your time, everyone. And remember, we're not all aliens. We just need to play detective. We need to look for those human needs, and we can do that even if we're not a people person, because we can use those tools to help us to really understand what's going on behind the mask. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.